What's going on, fearless filmmakers? I'm out here in the middle of nowhere, just kind of trying to process my mind, get my thoughts straight, because not too long ago, I filmed a short film that I'm just producing. I wrote, directed, everything by myself, because I wanted to see creatively what I could do in just a day with no crew, nothing but me and my own creativity, and then just lay it out there. But what camera equipment did I use for that short film? I used two: Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 4K, Blackmagic Cinema Camera 6K, and actually I had an in-camera, pretty much an on-camera appearance of my Canon R5, which I'm using right now. And I used those cameras because I really wanted to be able to record in RAW, because I'm just a RAW recorder. I like being able to tweak the colors, 12-bit colors, really dive into what you can actually get out of the filmic look and actually have the ability to shoot RAW and have colors pretty much be under my control completely. I overexposed here. Kind of control that a little bit. So I'm in the process of editing it, and the story is really where I'm trying to get it nice, because I filmed it in a dramatic sense, but now I'm trying to make the editing add a little bit more humor into the whole situation. Whoa, oversized truck coming towards me. I'm just gonna get out of its way. When you're in the middle of nowhere, you still get big, massive trucks that pass by. I don't even know what that's for. Anyway, but when it comes to equipment and talking about equipment, I have enough cameras, and although I would recommend them to anybody, I would also say that upcoming this year, there's a lot of exciting cameras that have come out or are coming out that I'm on the lookout for, and I figured I'd mention it to you guys as well. First one that is already out in the wild is the GH7. Now, I do have the Panasonic Lumix GH5, which came out quite a long time ago at this point. GH6 came out since then. So GH7 is the next line in cameras. This type of camera is a micro four thirds camera, which means that the sensor size is about half the size that of what they call full frame. The GH7 actually fixes a lot of the drama that was a problem with the GH5 and the GH6. Main thing being autofocus. So if you actually pick up the GH7, you will think of it almost like the do-everything camera. It even films RAW internally, ProRes RAW specifically. Now, if you're an Apple user and use Final Cut, ProRes RAW is great. You'll be able to have all the controls. But if you're on a PC using something like DaVinci Resolve, you're going to have to convert the ProRes RAW files into something editable like Cinema DNG before you can start using the RAW controls. And Premiere does support ProRes RAW, but does not give you the controls such as white balance to be able to truly take advantage of RAW recording. But GH7, great camera, it's getting great reviews. Definitely one to look out for. Then the other two cameras that I actually have in mind, but are not even announced yet, but I'm looking forward to, and I'm keeping my eye out, and that's a little bit more money than the GH7. It's the Canon R5 Mark II, which is the second version of the camera that I'm using right now. So if you like this quality, picture the next iteration, because this came out in 2020, and this Canon R5 can record 8K RAW at up to 30 frames per second, and it can record 4K at 120 frames per second. It could do crop mode, it could do ultra fine detail mode, and it has modes where you get the whole 8K resolution and it downsamples to 4K to get really, really sharp 4K. And it used to have overheating issues, but with firmware updates, I haven't had an overheating issue at all. But the reason I'm looking forward to the R5 Mark II, if it was exactly the same as the R5, I'd be happy. And from what I hear, it's going to be the same 45 megapixels. I hear it's got improved autofocus, which is crazy. But the one thing that I'm looking forward to is the removal of the 30-minute record limit. So having this camera, the R5, at events is almost like a non-starter. I do have an Atomos Ninja V Plus to extend that recording time on the R5, but I would rather record internally without the camera stopping at 30 minutes, so I'd look out for that. And then the R1 is the other camera, which is Canon's top-of-the-line camera, mostly for sports photography, but I'm sure its video features will be next level too. but that's an expensive camera. Rumored at probably over $7,000. And the R5 is probably will be around $4,000, the R5 Mark II. So when it comes to those cameras, they're a little bit pricier, but what you get out of it is a do-everything camera. The Lumix G87 can take photos too, but its true calling would be video. So those are my thoughts. Okay, that truck from before is like backing up over there. So just beep, beep, beep. Let me put this down. I've been walking around enough. Sometimes I like to walk and talk. It gets my brain to kind of function a little bit. Now, a camera that was announced, it's a cinema camera that came out from Canon, which is probably one of the priciest of them all, actually, or it might compete with the R1, is the Canon C400, which is a follow-up to the C300. And it does a lot, but at the same time, it's only cinema. And if that's what you're interested in, if it's perfect, it's got like triple native ISO, because I know a lot of cameras do have like dual native ISO. Well, this camera has triple native ISO, and those are at like, I think 800, 3200, and then 12,800. And what that does, it basically cleans up your shot when you reach those ISO levels. That way, if you're in a really low light environment, you can switch to that next level higher ISO, and it actually cleans up your image and does incredible in low light. So that feature is one to look out for. But those are the cameras I'm talking about today. When the announcements happens, I'm gonna have a few more comments, but I came out here in the middle of nowhere because sometimes for your creative line, you gotta just get out. And that's what I decided to do. And as always, you can make my day if you subscribe to today's. This is Magnus, and I'm out. See you later. Gotta drive home now. Yeah, one more thing. Let's go.